Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the October 23rd, 2007 meeting of the Glendale Housing Authority, in called order at 2:53 p.m. May we have roll call?
Authority members: Draymond.
Here.
Mincy.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Parazian.
Here.
Quintero.
Here.
Yusefian.
Here.
Chairman Weaver.
Here. May we have your report?
The agenda for the October 23, 2007 regular meeting of the Glendale Housing Authority was posted on Thursday, October 18, 2007, on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you. What is next?
Next is approval of minutes. Is there?
So move.
Second.
All abstain.
Minutes will stand approved as submitted with the one abstention. Next, please.
Next is oral communication. Discussion is limited to items not part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Members of the Housing Authority may question or respond to a speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. The matter may be referred to staff through the Executive Director for investigation and a report.
I have one card. Herbert Milano.
Good afternoon. My name is Herbert Milano, Authority Chair Weaver, members of the agency and city staff. I have taken the freedom to prepare a document that's in front of you concerning a suggestion for a full-time demographer for community development and housing. When I attended the meeting of the Community Development Block Grant, the supporting documents that were presented to the CDBG Advisory Board were, in many cases, up to 8 years behind the times. It's surprising to me that a city of this size would not have someone fully dedicated at looking at the demographic aspects of the city and the impact that it has eventually on policy. Here's a quotation on that particular document that was handed out at the time. 34% of the city's female-headed households with children under 18 years of age were living at or below the poverty level in 1999. So this is 2007, and we're looking at data that's 8 years old. And I think that we need current and up-to-date information concerning all of these social factors. For example, what is the population increase by district? How many single-parent families do we have by district? How many families do we have in precarious housing needs? What were the number of evictions due to non-payment of rent? What is the increase in activity in this paycheck advance business and pawn shops in the city of Glendale? What is the number of youth in families in economic straits? What is the number of school-age youth who work to supplement family income? This morning we're talking about the program that the Glendale Unified School District has across Pacific Edison. I've seen that program because it's aimed at trying to retain kids in high school. And the one child that I interviewed who loves this particular program was having a lot of difficulty in failing at Hoover High. When I asked her what the problem, what she missed at Hoover High, she says nothing. They treated me with a lot of disrespect. Here, I'm treated like a person. And I asked her what was the major problem she had. She says that she had to work to help her father supplement the income for a family of 6 children. So when we don't have that information available to us, in front of us, we're continually looking at all of the opportunities that we have with further development like we usually have. I think that we need to at least have someone who's going to provide and consolidate the information concerning the social state of the city. I think also by having current information, it will allow the city to be better prepared in case there are opportunities for grants coming in from other agencies, be it the County of LA, state, or federal. And it is my hope, Mr. Najarian, that you can take some of this data and have that as part of your presentation when it's your turn to give the state of the city. So oftentimes what we see is simply all of the wonderful buildings that are coming to Glendale, but these reports, from the ones that I've seen personally, have never included the state of the city with regard to the social factors. And I think that we owe it to the community to have an up-to-date document that hopefully will find its way eventually into the website so that everybody can know exactly where we are. So I took the freedom to hand a copy to you, and that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. No more cards. All communications closed. Next, please.
Is there any new business?
Seeing none, a motion to adjourn. Second.
Second.
Stand adjourned at 2:57 p.m.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Glendale Redevelopment Agency meeting of October 23rd, 2007. May we have a roll call for the agency, please?
Agency members Draymond.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Quintero. Weaver.
Here.
Chairman Yusefian.
Here, may we have your report, please?
The agenda for the October 23, 2007 regular meeting of the Glendale Redevelopment Agency was posted on Thursday, October 18, 2007 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
And I will abstain out of that one. And it will stay approved. Next, please.
Next is oral communication. Discussion is limited to items not part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Members of the redevelopment agency may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. The matter may be referred to staff through the executive director for investigation and report.
I have one card, Mr. Milano.
Thank you very much. My name is Herbert Milano. Mr. Yusefian and members of the redevelopment agency and city staff, I have taken the liberty of handing to you my formal letter in answer to the environmental impact report for City Center 2. It's a 6-page document that attempts to address the what I consider the misinformation that generally is found in these documents. And I call it misinformation, and I'll give you at least 3 examples of that. And I wanted to do it in public. First of all, the environmental impact report for City Center 2 contains a figure on Chapter 4. This is figure 411.1, and you have a copy of it, behind this document at the back. And this particular figure shows a map of the project site with all the available parkland within a 1-mile, should we say, radius, not quite a circle, but you get the idea. The interesting thing about this particular presentation is that it makes the assumption that the particular parkland that is surrounding this building will be available to the residents. It's almost like if it were a justification for the availability of parkland. But in the back behind this document, I put in, from table 411-1, a description of what a mini park is and a neighborhood park is. Now, a neighborhood park has a radius that it will cover half a mile surrounding that park, and that's the service area. Well, this building is outside of that service area, and a mini park only covers a quarter of a mile. So what I did is I made circles approximating a quarter of a mile for the one near the item 1 near Lexington. I don't have it on mine. And about half a mile from the other community parks, the 3 of them. And as you will notice, this project site is in none of the service areas of these community parks. And my purpose here is in establishing the fact that when we look at the definitions of what a community and a mini park are, you will find that a lot of these projects are not serviced by those parks, and the need for parks is more prevalent. The second item that I wanted to bring up is the issue of water and how water usage is calculated. At the project on Verdugo Gardens, it was estimated that each unit would consume about 200 gallons of water per day. On the city center project, it is estimated about 212 gallons of usage per day. But then when I took a look at another city document called the Urban Water Management Plan, it calls for roughly an estimate of 143 gallons per day per resident, and that's in this document. And even if we allow for the fact that 17% of the water usage is non-residential, you still have an underreporting of about 50%. The other point I wanted to bring is concerning the traffic and the evaluation of an EIR for traffic. It is my understanding that it is the Traffic Commission responsibility to give some input with regard to the environmental impact reports as it concerns traffic. Well, this past week, we just had the last meeting canceled. There have only been 3 meetings the whole year. So the opportunities for the Transportation and Parking Commission to evaluate these environmental impact reports are pretty much non-existent. They haven't seen these reports, and they are the only individuals that we have from the community truly looking at this. I spend a considerable amount of my time really learning and reading carefully what these EIRs are, and I find myself quite surprised at the kind of information that is there. And the only way we can actually vet this information out is through these commissions that are not meeting. So it is a significant concern. My last suggestion with regard to an evaluation of these projects would be a recommendation that we be given sort of like the cost-benefit of each particular project. We generally know what the costs are in terms of sewer and park impacts and so forth, but we really never know what happens to that income that comes from these projects in terms of its revenue, and whether that revenue really trickles down to the community in some way or another. You know, allocations are made for fire and for police and so forth. But how does the community benefit, the rest of the community that are already living here, from these projects? It would be nice to have the cost, like an income statement for each project, to see how are we going to benefit from it. So that's my last suggestion, and I thank you.
Yes.
I have a question for Mr. Milano. Mr. Milano, your comments on the City Center 2 EIR that you just made, are those in addition to the comments that had been submitted in the 80-page response by your attorney?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, I wanted to personalize my response.
Are these included in the questions or the comments submitted in that 80-page submittal, or are these different?
Only slightly. It was only earlier yesterday that I noticed the water issue, which wasn't picked up by my attorney. So, that's the only thing that is new. The rest of it is in there.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Just to make sure, Mr. Malone, you've left us a copy, if those are to be responded to?
Yes, I did. In fact, here's an additional copy.
Let's just make sure we have a copy.
Every one of you should have a copy.
That should go to Ms. Van Meiden, so we can make sure they're responded to.
That's...
We'll make sure copies get in.
Thank you very much. That was the last card I had on oral communication. What's next, please?
Any agency or member or staff comments?
Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. We are adjourned.
Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the Glendale City Council for October 23rd, 2007.